What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a heel whip. So first things first, what is a heel whip? Because a lot of people in my comment section, especially on my scooter progression video, have been getting it confused. So a tail whip, you kick around with your toes. You flick it this way. It goes to your heel side and you catch it on your toe side. A heel whip, you flick this way, and it goes from your toe side, you catch it on your heel side. It depends if you're goofy or regular. If you're like this is a heel whip. This is how I ride. If you ride goofy, a heel whip is this way. So some people have been getting it confused, saying I do heel whips instead of tail whips, but that's what a heel whip is. Okay, now that that's cleared up, here's how to do a heel whip. The first thing I want to say is when you're doing a tail whip, I feel like the kicking the deck is a big part of a tail whip. I feel like the heel whip is the opposite. The kicking is important to get it started, but it's mostly in the hands, at least in my case. So first, how to kick the deck away from you to get the heel whip motion started, because that is a part of it, although I don't think it's that big of a part of it. So what you're gonna wanna do is pretty much, it's the same as the tail whip except the opposite, if that makes sense. You take your feet and you push them away from your body out instead of flicking them and swinging them back like that. So you take your foot and you push it outwards to make the deck go around in a heel whip motion. So here's another thing I want to clear up, is a lot of people say it's a heel whip because you kick it or flick it with your heels. I think that's not true, because how I do heel whips is I kick it with my toes. I put my toes on the deck in the same position, but instead of flicking, I push outwards and it gets the whip around. So whichever way works for you, but just know that I push with my toes and it gives me better control and more power for flicking it around. So one very, very important thing is to keep your feet together at all times. No matter what, keep your feet together. Because I see people, they try to do this, and that never works. They just go everywhere. They don't do it right. It's not gonna work. So you have to keep your feet together. When you're doing the flick, your feet may be like this, and when you flick it mainly with your back foot. So you might have a slight offset, something like that. But you don't want to spread your legs out or do anything. You want to keep your feet as close together as you can. Here's an example of me doing a heel whip. When I kick the deck, my feet slightly separate just so I can get that extra push with my back foot. But as soon as I'm done flicking the deck, my feet go right back together and stay together until the whip comes around and I land. The second part of the heel whip is the most important part, and that's using the hands. Once the deck is out about here, you're gonna want to use your hands. I think of it as more of you kick it out and bring it back in. So you're kicking it out and pulling it back into you. It's not a very intense motion, it's more of a subtle little swoop back to your feet. Here's a close-up of what my hands are doing. Kick it out, bring it back. So it's a little twitch, but it's also swinging the deck back to your foot. The third part is catching it, and this is again where you have to keep your feet together. You're gonna have a 90% better chance of landing the trick, because if your feet are all spread apart, it's gonna be really hard for you to get them back together and get them on the deck. So this is how I catch heel whips. Even if you're not catching heel whips, this will help you not slip out. You just angle your toes slightly down and let the whip come back to your feet. And then once it hits your feet, you land on it. When you first learn heel whips, I'm pretty sure you won't be catching them. It'll more be like you just land on it as it hits the ground. But when I learned heel whips, I pretty much just kept doing them, and then I learned how to catch them without even trying. So it just takes a lot of repetitive practice and repetition of the trick. I'm gonna show two angles of me doing a heel whip. Here's the steps. So again, kick the deck out with your toes with a little flick. The feet separate a little bit, but not too much. As the whip comes around, I keep my feet together, and then as it comes back to my feet, I catch it under my feet and land it. Again, from another angle, same thing. Flick, bringing the deck around, catching it with your feet and landing it. If you've already learned a tail whip, it's just the same thing, just practice. I hope this tutorial gave you a little bit of helpful tips and help speed up the process, but don't get discouraged, it just takes practice. So just practice the things I told you, and hopefully you'll land it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to smash the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.